It's not in the cards for you. I'm pretty good at insults, and I got the internet and a lot of free time.
That's how it could be set up. This is along a perimeter, that's the only rule. The only spaces that you play on, or the hexagons, was the thought that I had in my mind. But you can play on any space. You have a 12-card hand. That's your indicator dice to see how much hits your man can take. When he gets hit, he goes down to 5, and then 4, 3, 2, 1. So you have a 12-card hand. You have to build something, anything you want on Earth, from 6 to 12 of them. This is all in your hand. I'll show you. And you're just like hand managing it. When you have the thing that you have built, you lay it down, you say, okay, I built, say, a car, and you have all the components for a car. If they can guess what you used to build that car, then you can't move. If you can move, then you take the black dice and you roll the dice, and that's how many of your cubes you can move. And I just rolled 10 so I can move all 10 of them to any location that I want. And sap the resources. There's 6 different colors on the green, yellow, blue, white, orange, and brown. Some of them have different things, but in that case you would choose the resources. And there's a list. The green, of course, yields wood because it's forest. And then you go that way and you say, well, okay, I'm going to tell my story of what I built, but you have to get an emotional reaction in order to keep that object in your tableau. And you're marking on paper how many objects you have, because that's how many attacks you can have. And also you're using them to tabulate how many points you have. Each object you have is worth 1 point. So you're going through and you're trying to stop the game by your meeple defeating another meeple, by sidling up to another meeple. Like it's over here, and you sidle up to it, and that counts as an attack. Once attacked, that meeple can move anywhere else on the board that they want, so they don't get further attacked. But it goes down to 5. When you have the most amount of resources, you should be able to stop the game at a point where you have the most amount of resources, because it doesn't matter who's last on the board. It matters who has the most objects built once the final meeple is killed. So this is the first part of Squonk. You have 12 cards in your hand. You don't drop them, but I'm just showing you there could be a wide variety of things that you can build from these things. So you'll build whatever you want using 6 to 12 of them in your hand, and that'll be the thing that you need to impress people with, because you'll lay your cards down face down and you'll say, well, I built, a shirt. Well, what might you need for a shirt? Well, you might need some dye, you might need some cotton, or whatever you use. And you could have a wild card. Well, what's a wild card? You'll explain they used a wild card to substitute one of the things in the game. There's 18 different resources within the game, and you can get doubles and potentially use doubles for something to build 2 of something. Or maybe it's like, oh, you use 2 brick because your car is up on blocks. Whatever it is, you're describing within this first part what you built in order to guess what the thing is consisting of. And that's how you get on the board. If you can stump them, then you can get on the board. What would you use pitch for? What would you use dye for? What would you use wood and brick for? And oil and coal? What would you build? Wool. The second part of squonk is manned movement. So you have your squonks, which are the cubes, and then you have your man. But I guess you can say squonks are your man too. It's your movement of your pieces. So let's say you were able to stump people and your resources were not guessed from the object that you built. Like, oh, I built a car. What did I build it out of? Nobody could guess. So if you're one of the people where the people couldn't guess, of course, it could be up to a 4-player game. It's a 3 to 4-player game, and I'll get to why 3 in a minute. You'll take the dice, you'll roll the dice. 5, that means you can move 5 of your pieces to any resource space on the board, and there's 5 different resources that you can harvest. And what you're trying to do here is build a thing and then tell a story based on those resources to build that. So I built a car, I used this, that, and the other thing to build it. And your man can only move 1 or 2 spaces from that present location, but your squonks can move based on the dice. So you put them anywhere you want. You essentially teleport. And that's man movement. You're going up and silently next to them with another color in order to defeat them. You go next to them and you can defeat your man. But since it's 1 or 2, it takes a little bit of time to get there. But your squonks are constantly harvesting resources in order to build objects, and as many objects as you've built throughout the game with cards or board movement is how many attacks you have from man to man.
As an older guy interested in younger males and a libtard or whatever you want to call me,